Squad, welcome back to IGHQ. You can call me COMM, and in today's Apex video, we're diving beneath the surface of Season 21 Upheaval, balance changes, rotations, legend updates, bug fixes, and all the other patch notes come alongside the season. Timestamp down below to help you find the facts you're looking for. Please remember to leave anything I may have missed in the comments so we can have all the facts in one place, and while you're down there, drop this video a like as a lot went into it. But I just hope you enjoy, and with that said, let's dive in. Starting with our rotations, as you may know, the new Broken Moon Map, World's Edge, and King's Canyon are on rotation. For our gold weapon rotation, we can find the Nemesis, Triple Take, PK, Prowler, and Longbow this season. Next is our care pack rotation. You may have noticed the Wingman back to the floor. It, of course, already killing me a bunch this season, but did see some changes, like the projectile size being reduced to the pre-packaged values, the damage being reverted to 45 per hit, the Skull Piercer Elite hop-up has been removed, but it does now take the boosted loader hop-up. The hipfire accuracy for the Wingman has also been reduced, and you can no longer attach an extended magazine to it. They continue to try to balance this weapon, so you'll have to let me know how you're liking it. In its place, the Devo enters the care pack, however, and it too sees some changes, becoming even more of a beast, specifically if you use it right with its new mechanic, Reverse Hipfire, which has the weapon's accuracy get tighter and tighter the longer you fire it from the hip instead of widen. The damage has also been increased to 16, was 15, and the magazine size increased to 54, was 45 at purple. We'll also receive some reserve ammo getting up to 324 now, and if you reload this weapon on empty, the time is significantly reduced. That moves us on to our world systems like loot bins, death box, beacons, and zones. I want to talk about the loot bins, which now the first loot bin opened by an unarmed player will always have a weapon in it. This will arguably change or at least help the hot drops a lot. Another tweak to our loot bins, however, is the survival items, which now will only spawn if they are actually needed, so prioritizing heals unless you're, say, in the zone and in need of a heat shield, or maybe sitting on two teammates' banners and in need of an MRB. Speaking of banners, or at least banner retrieval from death boxes, a change here makes it so you will no longer be locked out of critical actions like running, shooting, punching, or reviving, but will actually register the collection and break you out of the animation instead. Players can also immediately interact with the death box for a second time while in the animation of picking up the banner by just continuing to hold the interact button. They also added some new locations to spawn for ring consoles, survey beacons, and crafters just to even out the maps and improve the end ring generator. That moves us back into our weapon adjustments for the season. First, the 3030, which does get the reactive skin for the season, but like the Wingman, sees the removal of the Skull Piercer hop-up, which should make this thing slightly less of a beast, but the charge rifle has its ADS recoil improved and stabilized, which, since its big changes of last season, I think will benefit here. The longbow has the Skull Piercer, hop-up also removed, along with the barrel stabilizer, but that said, the base recoil was significantly improved and the projectile gravity reduced. Time in and out of ADS as well has been reduced, ideally making it easier to hit some of those shots and stack up against the Senti. Lastly though, the Triple Take will now also be able to take the boosted loader hop-up. Speaking of hop-ups, I mentioned the Skull Piercer Elite being removed off the Wingman, as well as the Skull Piercer being removed off of all these other weapons. The base version of it as well just has been removed off the floor entirely, and in its place, the boosted loader up for grabs that we've mentioned a couple times here. Lastly, the Digi Threat Optic has been removed from the game entirely. They say, it kind of negated some legend abilities as well as synergized with other ones, and they've just been trying to balance it, and putting it on a hiatus kind of seemed like a good call to me. That moves us on to the legend changes though, which with Breakout and all the upgrade abilities that kind of change the game there, we'll link up if you haven't seen, as well as the 2.0 follow-up. This you can essentially count as the 3.0 section, as we have another handful of changes to the legends and their upgrade abilities. So we will start with Alter, the new legend that just came in with the season. Of course, we kind of touched on her kit already, and we'll deep dive her, as I said, more later, but her level 2 upgrade options are Ultimate Cooldown, or unique to her, Void Vision, which extends the highlights and allows her to see health bars after exiting her tactical. Her level 3 upgrades are either Tactical Cooldown Plus or Eternal Nexus, which allows her ultimate Void Nexus to no longer time out. Looking at Ballistic, he gets a change to his level 2 upgrade. Instead of the Care Package Insight, he now gets Slingshot, which allows the sling weapon to level up with each upgrade selection. Bloodhound had their alt cooldown increased, now waiting 4 minutes, and Knoxwell within Beast of the Hunt mode will no longer extend the duration. But don't worry, because last time something like this happened, they just put the mechanic in as a new upgrade, right? So let's look at those. For Bloodhound, now their level 3 upgrade, we get Long Hunt, which extends the time of Beast of the Hunt per knock while within Beast of the Hunt mode, and their other upgrade, Taste of Blood, which has an increase to the health gained per knock while within Beast of the Hunt mode, which is now going to be 50 instead of 25. Lastly, some bugs that were addressed with Bloodhound as well. The passive markers will no longer appear for teammates not on player squad, and players can once again be scanned by 2 Bloodhounds at the same time. That moves us on to Catalyst. Her tactical cooldown has been decreased to 20 seconds, was 25, and their level 2 long cast ability that increased the throw range by 40% was just integrated into the base tactical, and in its place you can now learn Long Veil, which increases the ultimate length of the wall by 15 meters, which was just her old level 3 ability, so in its place you can now get Pharaoh Door, which instead of reinforcing doors, allows you to just rebuild missing doors entirely, which I think is pretty cool. And they also fixed a bug with them that didn't allow the Dark Veil to start charging at the beginning of games. That brings us to Conduit, who gets a tweak to her tactical, specifically with Revenant. While he's in the Forge of Shadows mode, or as soon as he activates it, the temporary shield generation will end immediately from Conduit, instead of kind of doubling up. Any gained shields before the ult starts, he will get and will remain, but as soon as he triggers it, it will stop. She also gets her level 2 battery collection ability, switched to Bat Pack, which also allows her to stack up to 3 batteries per stack, which is way more useful, so definitely glad to see that. Looking now at Crypto, who also gets some tweaks to his base kit. So Crypto's old level 3 ability, Network Traffic, that let the drone call out how many teams are in the area when it got deployed, is now integrated into the base kit. And now squad count banners are now visible anytime the drone is in a deployed state. For his upgrade abilities, at level 2, both the tactical and ultimate cooldown were removed, and in their place we actually see Network Expansion, which is another old level 3, increasing the passive and ultimate range by 25%, as well as Quick Transmission in level 2, which improves the drone handling. And then for his level 3 spots, we now have Hackathon, which doubles the drone recharge rate and gains you a speed boost when it explodes, or Satellite Imagery, which allows the drone scan to persist for 1.5 seconds. Another little quick bug fix for Crypto here as well in regards to the drone recall audio, so that should be fixed. That moves us on to Fuse, who gets an update to his Scar Tissue ability, simplifying the damage and burn effects, so instead of 37 damage over time with the burn effects, you'll now just do a flat 20 damage. They also tweaked his other abilities, Reckless, in relation to his Knuckle Clusters, which should do about 32 damage now with the continuous hits. He did get one last change, and that's to the swap out of Big Bang, in my opinion another weak perk, and gives him Ringmaster instead, so now he can access ring consoles. I mean, only slightly better, but let's move on to Octane, who also had Reckless, but it's now removed, and we get Mad Hops in its place, which is an old level 3 perk for him, gaining you the extra launchpad charge. Also in his level 2 upgrade slot, with a slight adjustment, is Thick Skin, the slight adjustment being that now you just take a flat 5 less damage when stimming, and this was also put in for his level 3 ability. Of course, you're able to kind of double down on this twice, taking 10 less damage on stims, or kind of go the jump pad aerial control route. We do, however, just have a few more legends like Ash and her Arc Stare now being thrown with her left hand instead of the right, so it won't stow your weapon or interrupt your consumables when you're launching it. And for her Phase Breach, inspired by Alter's tech, will now highlight nearby enemies after you're traveling through the void. For Caustic, his gas and slow stop immediately after wiping a Caustic squad, but his gas now, instead of a flat 5 tick, will ramp up from 4 to 10 damage over time, but stay a flat 4 damage on knocked players. For Newcastle, his mobile shield can be thrown 2.5 times faster now, and his castle wall will destroy incoming projectiles from the front of it as long as it's energized. Note, they also increased that energized time to 1 minute instead of 30 seconds, and for his upgrade Stronghold, it actually makes it 3 minutes energized, but if you throw nades from behind or ults from the air, that'll still get the job done. Moving on to Watson, her pylons will stop spawning Arc Stars when her squad is wiped, as well as they've resolved some bad spawn points for her Arc Star generation. And for her split circuit upgrade, it no longer reduces shield regen capacity. Quickly looking at Maggie, they removed drill burn audio for players in the area of effect while phased. And lastly for Wraith, her Into the Void and Dimensional Rifts will also, like Ash and thanks to Alter, allow nearby enemies to be highlighted for players also going through her Void. They also removed Wraith's shadows from the Void if you aren't playing as Wraith and going through the Void, which makes sense. So, as you know, Solos is live for a 6-week takeover. It's 50 players, you get a second chance if you die in the first 4 rounds, and auto heal after a kill, plus auto regen when you're out of combat. This I'm not too sure I'm a fan of, but additional adjustments to loot and circle size. As you can see, some of the first zone actually is cut off on the map. This is just to accommodate, you know, the solo play and the pacing. So you'll have to let me know how you've been faring. But as for our other mixtape modes, Lockdown is officially added into rotation, which I love to see as I really enjoyed that mode, and the maps there are Zoo Station and Monument. We see mixtape modes have a few rotations throughout the weeks. At default, we'll see Control, Gun Run, Lockdown, and TDM, but certain weeks won't have all the modes because certain modes will need to be featured as LTMs. When those modes are featured, they'll be featured with more maps, which is pretty cool. But when those modes are being featured, of course, in the regular mixtape rotation, they won't be. So Control and Gun Run both have a feature moment, as well as we'll also see a TDM 24/7 from June 18th to 24th, applying a 35 kill score limit and increased health regen, which again will be on all the maps: Skull Town, Zoo Station, Monument, Thunderdome, Watson's Pylon, and Fragment. But lastly for our modes, we'll touch on Ranked, which they didn't actually make any major tuning adjustments since the Breakout revert, but they did make one to the pre-made squads, and that's that you have to be within 3 tiers of each other now to be able to ready up and actually play with each other. If you didn't play last season or ended in Rookie, you were reset to 1 RP, and if you did play and ended above Rookie, you were reset to Bronze 4, so enjoy the grind, and remember splits are back to normal time. That moves us onto our bug fixes. We just have a smaller list here because I kind of sprinkled the other ones in with the legends, so these ones just kind of general here, and we'll put them up on the screen and read through them. Equipping an evac tower or MRB will no longer close the inventories of all the players in the match. In the firing range, to fix edge cases where legend change was available when it shouldn't be, as well as some occasional crashes when interacting with an enemy's crafted banner. For Mischief Medic, it no longer appears as highlighted healer. On Olympus, players can no longer enter or exit the vaults without a key. Survey beacons and ring consoles should now be pingable again from the map, and when hip firing with a devotion, it will now properly track its reticle. That brings us to the quality of life improvements, the last things we have to talk about today, starting with the general updates here. They've added some additional security improvements. Airdropping replicators now project a beam upwards as they descend, just to help differentiate them from other airdrops. Backed by popular demand, you can now re-queue at the end of pubs, BR, and mixtape matches, as you can see here. The Deathbox flyers, there's an option now to automatically ping where the location of the Deathbox will be, dropped. They've improved the choice of consumables that are auto-selected when either reaching full health or full shields. Improved the use interaction on doors when the res is available. There's a map spawn audit for all the mixtape maps: Phase Runner, Habitat, Thunderdome, Zoo Station. They've upgraded to the latest version of the Easy Anti-Cheat. Ping should now go through all translucent surfaces like windows. Players can now request for grenades, arc stars, frags, and thermites. And then some changes on the Thunderdome map specifically. Airdrop locations have kind of changed. For the control mode, they moved C capture point to the landing pad, and then just adjusted some spawn attached to the B capture point as well. Some graphic updates as well to help with PCs with lower specs and anyone trying the DX12 beta. There's some new options there, just updates to some lighting as well, and significantly improved CPU performance. But most importantly, on the Nessie Army note, we just want to congratulate everyone on successfully finding the blue Nessie. As you can see here, our girl is finally free, they say, and the Nessie Army is now complete. So squad, that is everything beneath the surface of Season 21 Upheaval. The rotations, weapon and legend updates, bug fixes, and quality of life improvements. Again, if I missed anything, please let me know down below. Remember, all links are in the description, and if you want more Apex content like this, hit that subscribe button. But as always, I just hope you're having a great season so far, and I appreciate you for being here. So stay safe, stay gaming, and I'll see you in the next video. Comms out. Jen Burger. We're going to cast out the rest of the first game here. It's our first game. I didn't do great, But I did get a kill. But damn, this guy got 9. Like, where'd everyone drop? And just start dying. Oh, whoa. Devo spray for the steal. And then Devo cleanup. They weren't even looking. Making a 12-kill dub for your champion here. Let's get some hands. Introduce your hands.